Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Hello all, we are in India, in Punjab, for Muscat Trust, Mata Sahib Kaur Education Trust, and today we're looking forward to talking with a very special guest, and that is Benji Satnam Kaur, who is from the Conscious Sisterhood on Instagram, and she is doing an amazing job. So we're going to go live with her, so we're just waiting for her to send a request, and then we can get started. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh to all of you that are joining in. Thank you. We're just waiting for Benji to get live, and we're going to start today's topic, which is I'm so happy that I'm doing this with Benji. She's on. Can you send me a request, Benji, to join in? And then we can get started. So the topic today is all about pursuing your Seva. And coincidentally, myself and Benji, so we're just going to add her in. Myself and Benji have gone the opposite sides of the world. We both started off in UK, and we've both gone to the opposite ends. One's gone to the west. Yay! Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you for joining us, Benji. It's so good to see you.
Thank you for having me. It's great to see you as well after so long.
It's been a long time, Benji, but you're still looking young. So it's
No, so are you.
It's morning where you are, correct?
It's morning, but I've been up for a while. We had an Amritala program and I haven't had a nap yet.
Oh, bless you, bless you. That's amazing. Those are the things that. How is your little one, Risal Singh, 4 years old? Did he join in?
He might join us. He's doing good. He's doing good.
Oh, that's good. And Baji as well.
Yeah, Baji. Yeah, your Baji's doing very well.
Maharaj Shukriya. That's good. That's excellent. So Benji, we're going to kickstart this live because I've got some questions for you. And it's all about you moved to Canada, because I actually didn't know you went to Canada until many months later.
Okay.
And I hear there's a tribe that's going to join you from UK soon. Some of my friends are moving to America as well. Canada, yes.
Okay.
And I think they'll be watching the live, hopefully, to get tips, and it might be close to you as well. So I just wanted to go into how we first met, because people might be saying, hey, who are these people? So we first met, I think, shortly after I got married in 2004. And I think I already had my first son in 2005. That's when I had your darshan for the first time, probably in Sikh societies in Nottingham.
Yeah, Sikh societies, camps. In fact, I think I actually met Viji Kuljit Singh before I met you.
He does say that to me about everyone.
Yeah.
I
met them at Sikh Society in Nottingham, and like my first interaction that I had with them was when they were doing a lecture to the students. It was actually the Gurdwara Sahib, and I always remember it's like kind of embedded in my mind, because like Viji was addressing the Singhs, or the males, and was saying, why don't you guys just try keeping your gaze, just for a week, just try out and see how it goes. And I remember at that time I was living away from home, and I was really on this cusp of whether I wanted to be a Gursikh or whether I didn't. Wow. And I remember thinking at that point, okay, you know what, let me just try this as well. And like, you're saying it to the things, I thought, okay, I'll just try it. I will just keep my gaze for a week, because I mean, at the time I wasn't cutting the gaze from my head, but like I was doing my eyebrows and all that kind of thing. And I kept my gaze for a week. And I remember at the end of that week, I felt so empowered that I just thought, okay, this is it now. I'm not going back.
Incredible.
So
that's
that was
a prime example. That's a prime example of taking good qualities in front of you, which are offered, and just trying it out without thinking, oh, that's just for the men, that's just for the females. Just having a go.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely inspiring. Wow. I never knew that. Wow. So,
I don't know if Viji knows that either, but then after that I was also his Santhya student. So I learned Santhya from Viji as well. And then I met you in various different camps. We've been doing Sangat together.
Where you've done incredible Kirtan. Amazing, Keithan. I love listening to your Keithans. Mars That's beautiful, beautiful, Keithan. So that's just a bit about where we met, and then we kind of went off on our paths. I remember you getting married, but we couldn't attend because I was giving birth or about to give birth to my second son at that time. So we missed out on the wedding. That was 12 years ago, I suspect, because he's turning 12.
Yeah, 12 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, wow. And since then, since the camps, then obviously I've heard you've gone to Canada, and I'm sitting in Punjab. So let's touch on your journey. How did you get to Canada, and what happened?
So I think you'll know this better than, well, you'll know this because you're a mother, right? That when you have children, you start to think really hard about the kind of life that you want to give your children. You want them to have the best life possible, and you want to be able to provide that for them. And so our move to Canada was for a Salvo thing. We really thought like we want him to have the best start in life. We want him to have a good education, a better quality of life. And so we moved on because of that. We wanted him to have a really, really good life. And we did kind of feel that we'd be able to carry on doing prachar over on this side of the world as well. Like we'd been going to Europe and all the other different parts of the UK for a long time. And everything had come out here like a number of times. And he always used to say like, it's needed everywhere. Like it's not just, we can't just kind of stick in one place and just expect like that place to just, flourish. Like we have to go to so many places because we've got so much work to do. And he told me this like the very beginning of our marriage, that like, my life is prachar. You can come along with it, and like this is what my life is going to be. And I guess he even gave me the choice before we got married, and he said, you've got a choice to make here. Like, is it a life of seva, or is it something else that you want? Because this is what my life is. And so then I just thought, okay, well, there's a reason why we've been put together. So let's just see what it's about, right? And like as a young girl, you just kind of think, okay, yeah, let's just see what life brings, right? So we did kind of think that like, okay, when we come to North America, we will have a chance to do more prachar. But we also did come here for a slightly quieter life, because our life had been very hectic in the first 10 years of our marriage. And we thought, okay, it's time to kind of just relax a little bit. But then literally within a month of being here, we got put into more seva than I think we ever have had before. And it's been busy ever since. Wow. So I guess for us, we didn't even know that we were coming here for seva. I feel like Mara just pulled us here. We didn't know that we were going to be, going to all these different parts of Canada. We've already been to America so many times to do prachar. It's kind of like, this is exactly what our path was. And even though we thought we were choosing a quieter life, Mara said like, no, actually, this is what you're here for. So, okay, there you go, get on with it.
They were like, Ujja jao, go to that part of America and just keep doing what you're doing, and you're bound to. That's amazing. That's incredible. So what I wanted to find out, because I've been looking at Conscious Sisterhood for the last few days, and I'm just gobsmacked about how wide, how massive it is and how deep it is as well, because you're covering so much, supporting sisters and motivating them with beautiful quotes, but at the same time you're doing such a variety of things, like how to clean iron utensils. Like, who even thinks of those things that are so important, but we don't get it out? And then obviously making your own products at home, looking after yourself. Such a massive scale that you're working on, and so deep as well. How do you manage that, and where did that idea come from?
I think there's a bit of a backstory which I would like to share for how Conscious Sisterhood came about. I think as a kid or young adult, I didn't really respect myself because I didn't respect women. And I think I had been that kind of patriarchal view of what women are was kind of deeply ingrained within me. And so I was always kind of trying to embody these masculine qualities of, you know, being really firm and logical, and, you know, just kind of always being very just not very soft, right? Just kind of always bulldozing through life kind of thing. And I think even after being married, I was in Sangat so much, and a lot of Singhani Sangat, that I still wasn't getting the chance to kind of tap into the feminine side of even myself. And I did have Singhani Sangat, but it was scarce. And even then, I just used to feel like I didn't fit in, because I was just like, yeah, I just want to be like one of the guys. Like, I don't want to talk about like, you know, like, I don't know, suits or whatever. You know, I just wasn't
Oh, I
like
so get that.
that. And so I just didn't have that kind of side to me where I could even think about supporting another sister, because I used to just think, oh, Randall, like, I don't care, right? And it was only when, well, actually, I put off being a mum for so long, because I just thought, how am I going to be a mum? Like, I've got none of those motherly qualities. Like, I don't even want to do that, right? And so when Rasal Singh came along, it was only then that I thought to myself, wow, like my body is doing something really amazing right now. And I started to feel in awe of my body and think, wow, there was so much that I didn't know about my body. There's so much that me as a woman and that every other woman in the world can do. So once I started to tap into that, I thought, oh my God, I'm actually really powerful. And that's when I started to study study the divine feminine more, started to study Singhania in Sikh history. Because even though I was coming into Sikhi and I had learned about the Singhani, I wasn't really paying attention to it, because I was just like,
Right.
yeah, well, whatever, right? Just it was just always in my mind. So so then conscious sisterhood came about when I realized that, okay, I'm feeling empowered. I feel really comfortable being a woman now, but I can see so many people out there that still haven't got that they still don't have that knowledge about themselves, or if they do have that knowledge, they don't know how to get into it in their minds.
Yeah.
And then being a Gursikh that keeps a certain amount of wreath, I thought, okay, well, it all fits in together. This is all Sikhi, right? And so with getting Singhani Sangat as well, and really kind of uh, reaping the benefits of having Singhani Sangat around me, I thought, oh, wow, like this is needed for the whole world, whether you're a Sikh or not. And that's where Conscious Sisterhood came about, because I just thought I want to help empower women to tap into their mind, their body, and their soul, and just feel just so empowered by it. So yeah, that's how it came about. And so the whole range of everything that Conscious Sisterhood is about is covering all of those parts of Sikhi, even the things that like we just live on a day-to-day basis and we don't even realize that they're Sikhi. That's what Conscious Sisterhood is about, to simplify these concepts just so much that anybody can access it.
And it's exactly that, getting it conscious, isn't it? It's those spiritual practices we're doing every day, but we're not even aware of it, and we don't even appreciate it. We don't even appreciate that this is so powerful, this moment right now, and then multiple moments of those make up the divine, the feminine, or, you know, like when our life is over, that's going to be part of the legacy and the great legacy of being a Singhani. So I think it's really important that that message goes out to everyone. So if you're watching this and you haven't already, follow Conscious Sisterhood, because it's amazing. I have to say, it's really amazing platform. It's doing so well. But I read something, and this was to do with you moving to Canada. Now, because my family and I, myself, my husband and 3 kids, we left UK last year in July. So this July was 1 year. And as I was looking through your posts, I found a post where you were saying about how it had been a year for you moving to Canada. Would you mind if I read that out and shared it to the Sangat watching?
I can't remember it, but yeah, sure.
So this really touched me, because it said, it's been a year since I officially moved to Canada, and I've gone through some of the biggest challenges of my life in the past 12 months. Through all of my struggles, whether physically, mentally, or emotional, sometimes even socially, classic introvert struggles. I love this. I have really gotten to know who I am. I've used meditation for self-reflection and tried to be mindful of all my thoughts, words, and actions. Self-reflection can be so hard. You have to get comfortable with all the parts of you that you believe to be ugly. And it can be difficult to ever want to love those parts of you. After all, the world and its people probably told you those things were ugly too. So there's been tears, breakdowns, and times where I have nearly given up on everything. And then it goes on to say that how you've taken the support of your family when you've been at your lowest points, and how grateful you are, and how you recognize that it's your own journey, that you can own it and say, this is my journey. When I read that, I felt like I had written that. And I tell you, the realization I got from that was, it doesn't matter where you go in the world or what changes you go through, but we're so interconnected in our feelings. We're so, our internal world is so similar that the external almost doesn't matter. I know. And I just read that and I thought, this is me. I was like, and I always thought, oh, somebody who moves to the West, to Canada, they got it easy, no electricity issues, no lizards climbing everywhere. You know, I always thought, what issues would it be? I thought the issues were, when I moved to Punjab, that this is me. And I felt a sense of shame that, come on, you're a Punjab's wife, or you've done talks yourself, and, you know, you often do Punjab yourself. How can you not deal with this? After all, that's the dream, isn't it? To go and serve wherever you serve. That's the dream. You go and serve, and you make the world a better place than you find it, or try to at least. And when I read that, I thought, I connect with this. I connect with actually so many sisters right now who are going through change. Because it's what I noticed is, well, this was from my counselling experience, that when we go through change, there's often a pattern on how we react to it. And I realized that my pattern of when I got married, I was like, yeah, this is great. Oh, I'm going to get married. No thoughts. And then it was like, whoa, this is reality. Oh my God, this is hard. And Holly, over the years, I found my footing. But then straight away saying with kids, oh, I'd love to be a mother. Oh my God, how amazing, I've got a sick child. And then I fall pregnant and I have hyperemesis, 9 months sick, completely unable to do anything for myself, and obviously giving birth. And I'm like, oh my God, this baby's beautiful. Wow, this is a blessing. And then it's like reality hits again. And it's like a slope that I'm like, yeah, this is okay. And then it goes down. So I recognize these from my training that, okay, this is how I normally tend to react. So if you're watching this at home and you're going through a change or thinking about going through a change, look at your past patterns on how you related to change. How were you, or how was your growth? And so I kind of thought that when I come here, I was like, yeah, we'll go to India. Okay, it's a bit different. It's very different, but we've been there loads of times, and we'll be fine. And then we got here and it felt like a holiday first. It felt like I was just on a smagam or yatra or something. Yeah. And then as all the Sangha left for the summer, I just went like down, and I was like, oh my God, this is really hard. This is really hard. And isolation is one of the biggest things. When you're going through change, it's very hard to find someone who can actually connect with what you're feeling in terms of the context where you are in your life. And I found that when you talked about you leaned on your friends and family, I could understand, because obviously I was talking to my mum or a couple of Gursikhs that would give loads of support and reassurance that what you're feeling is natural. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. You know, that was really helpful to me. And I wonder if other women who are going through change, whether you've just had a baby, whether you just got married, whether you're pregnant and fearing a new change coming up, whether they could also take that on themselves. That is a learning, that it doesn't matter if you're an established mother of 3 kids, it doesn't matter who you are, what you've achieved in your life, you're still going to have ups and downs when going through change. So I thought I'd share that with you. But what other challenges did you find of moving to Canada, and what insights did you gain from the move?
Before I actually go through some of the challenges, I just, I didn't remember that post that you just read out. And it actually made me really emotional as you were saying it, because I remembered all of the things that I went through. And just like you said, that it kind of resonated with you. It's made me think about how far I've come now. And those challenges were living in a brand new place. Even if you've been there before, if you're living there, that's your home now, right? And so to try and call a place that you don't know very well your home, it's the same as when you get married and go into your husband's home.
That's right. That's right.
You're really kind of trying to find your feet, and it's not even a case of, okay, you've got like 6 months to a year to find your feet. It's just like, okay, get on with it now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so the challenge there really was to adjust so quickly. And I think the biggest challenge that I found was that I felt like all of my life before moving to Canada, I felt like I was so immature, and I felt like I didn't know anything about life. And so I felt like I had a lot of growing up to do in a short space of time. And I think, and you'll know this as well, like, well, just with what you said, that there's always like the up and down, the roller coaster, or even just, the ebb and flow of what you call life. And you're always learning, and you'll always look back and say, oh my gosh, I was so immature then, or I didn't know this then. And you're constantly learning, and life is constantly changing for you. And so I think I had to get to a point where I could adjust to the fact that things may keep changing yet. And I think I'm still in that place where I think, yeah, things might change, but it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. I can get through it. And I feel like I got through it with with getting to know who I was, and really making my own personal practice for my self-care, or my routine, or my nityanam, or whatever you want to call it, getting that as strong as possible. I believe and I know that Naveed Singh struggled a lot with moving here. He had a lot of close friends, a lot of close sangat in the UK, that, he was doing sangat, more of them than I was. And he'd never moved away from home before. And so he was really going through this huge change and this adjustment. And for me, I kind of felt like, okay, well, I've got to hold everything together right now. I've got to hold myself together. I've got to hold my family together, because this is how we're going to get through it. And like with Maharaj's Kirpa, I feel like we are in the best place personally that we could have been. And that is because we went through those challenges, and we've adjusted to a new life, where first we couldn't even say we had a home. We didn't know if our home was UK, if it was Canada. And now we're kind of settled, and we can say like, no, Canada is our home, and this is where we belong. This is where our future is for the time being,
Yeah.
And I think another thing that I did to cope with the challenges was setting boundaries for myself, either with sangat, or even to a point of just like within the home, because we've got a small home here right now, before we can move into a bigger home, and the small space was killing us, because we were like, okay, you know what, I just need a bit of space right now. And so it was about setting those personal boundaries, setting boundaries for sangat, making sure that we still had time for ourselves, and just being very clear about what it is that we needed in order to be able to give the best of us for when the sangat needed it.
Yeah. And
I hope that's answered it. It's good. I just talked a
no,
lot.
it does. No. Carry on. It's so important. And how was it with your little one, Rasal Singh? Because he must have been 3, I suppose, which is quite a nice age to go to a different area. How was he? Did he show any signs of that he's going through change, or?
Yeah, he missed his grandparents a lot. He was very close with them in the UK, and he still misses them. So yes, there was a change that we could see, but at the same time, he was enjoying having mummy and daddy to himself all the time as well. So there is that part of it, and I feel like he's adjusted really well. And there's so much sangat around here that he truly feels like this is his home as well. In fact, I was having a conversation with him just a little while back, and I said, Rasal was saying, do you want to go home to grandma? Do you want to stay home here? And he was like, home is here, home is here. So it's like he's kind of
Oh.
adjusted to that. And he understands that this is where home is now.
Yeah, it's actually a very good age to move for a child, I think, before they go
Yeah.
into their permanent schooling and they enter that whole system. Because
Yeah.
for us, it was much trickier. I mean, although
Mm,
my youngest one, she's always wanted to move to India, and being a girl as well, I would be kind of hesitant to bring a girl to India because we've heard all the
mm,
stories and the safety,
mm,
etc. So if she had ever not had said what she had, I don't think I'd be here today. It's like
mm.
her words were for 2.5 years. I want to move there. That's where I belong. And she's even now to this day. This is my home. This is where I belong. So from the age of 5 to 8 when we moved, that's all I used to hear. And so she was such a big factor in it. But then trying to cope with a new school system, a new
Mm.
culture, the way children greet each other, the way they're less sensitive in these areas is a really like a survival of the fittest mentality. And how much
Yeah.
do you have, and what contacts do you have? And we've come from the West or UK where we're quite content with what we have already. We have everything on the plate. We don't need to show off anymore. But
Yeah.
here it's vastly different culture. And for some of those reasons, she has made a friend at school, but it's not the kind of friendships that they would have, which were more substantial, more satisfying in England. Like my middle son, he's 12, he struggled the most because
Mm.
of coming when he was 10, coming on 11, now he's coming on 12. And that's when puberty is starting, that's when you're finding out who you are. And he was just topping his class in UK, so popular, and now he's having to start from scratch. So, like you said, as a mum, you're trying to hold it all together. And I
Mm.
find that this is probably the most challenging part about being a female coping with a move to pursue Seva, because my husband, he was very much so like, right, I'm here for this Seva. And although he's there for the children, he's there for me, but he's still, his priorities are, he's, there for what he's there for.
Yeah.
And it was loads of, many hours I was often left at home by myself while the kids were at school, because I'd greet them when they come back. And those quiet hours were quite daunting, because it was like, right, I've just
Mm.
turned in from somebody who left UK, who was going 500 miles a week up and down the country to, finish the university course in Leicester, and then attend workplace, and then live in London and raise the kids, from someone who's so independent to just become a domestic person. Although I was doing some Seva alongside, but more home-based, it was a big shock. And then to deal with your children coping as well. But something that my eldest one, did straight away, he just threw himself in Seva, like Langar Seva, or any type of Seva in the Gurdwara, Nagara, doing Nagara, Maharaji Seva, roles. And he swears to this day, he goes, Mom, that is the biggest help. If anyone wants to, you know, feel happy in their life, do more Seva. And I was just like, okay, I'm getting told now. But I was
Mm.
like, in a way, my Seva is also of them, you guys,
Yeah.
as in
Yeah.
the children and the family.
Mm.
So it's been a vastly different experience because of their age, and obviously they've missed their grandparents, they've missed their aunties, uncles, and things like that. But it's also formulating a new community, a new family here. So they're getting used to seeing, the kids in the bin, and they become like family and stuff. But I think that we were looking at how do we deal with change. Normally in counselling or psychology, we'll just say, let's accept our feelings, let's accept we're going through this, ask for support when we need it. And like we've both discussed already, we talk to our friends and family when we needed to. But then, I was so hesitant to, because I thought, I'm doing what we're supposed to be doing, but why am I struggling so much? And then when I was looking at more at this, like what are the struggles, I started looking at something called the expectation gap. That when we make a move and we move somewhere, because we had a choice, should we move there? Should we move here? Should we choose this life? Should we choose this house? We often tend to pin all our hopes on that choice because we think we've made such an educated choice. And then what happens is, once we make that choice, we keep looking back and saying, is this better than what I had before? It was, didn't I have more? Didn't I have more freedom? Or didn't I have more money? Or didn't I have more access to things, or internet, or electricity? Or, you know, did I need help all the time? And I kept doing this thing where I kept looking back and thinking, oh, this was, I'm actually worse off than what I was before. Or, and that's just worldly stuff. What about spiritually? How am I doing spiritually? Am I worse off? Am I the same? Am I feeling anything? I was so confused for a short period of time. And, you know, I was just constantly checking in. And then one day I just stopped with the Gutka side. Because when we're so stuck, what do we turn to? When there's nobody that can answer our questions, there's nobody that can understand us, what do we go back to? We go back to Gurbani, Guru Granth Sahib Maharaj or Gutka Sahib, and just sitting there. And I remember that I was just sitting there reading Ik Onkar. Okay, what is Ik Onkar? Just going through the basics again and again and again. And I thought, there's so much noise in my head. I'm looking back, I'm looking left, I'm looking forward. Are the kids okay? Am I okay? What's happening? There's so much noise. Just stop and sit with Guruji, with Gurbani. Just stop for a minute. And when I stopped, I could actually see that the ego was so apparent in front of me. And that ego, that hankar, was huge. When I stopped thinking about anything. And I just sat in the moment and just, I think this is what people refer to as mindfulness. But I just sat with it and I just thought of Wahguru, and that energy, that divine energy that is in us as females, all the things in it, all the plants everywhere. And I just sat with it and I thought, everything right now is present and is Sabang, it's alive in this atmosphere of just Wahguru. Therefore, there's nothing wrong. Therefore, there's nothing in the past. Therefore, we're okay. And the only thing that makes us not okay is this thing called the ego. This ego is, when I looked at myself, I'm not talking about anybody else, I realized how huge it is and what a warrior we have to become to fight it. It's just, all my life, I didn't know how it was unconsciously making my decisions. You know, oh, I've become this, or I've done this, or I've got this, or I'm doing this talk, but actually it's just all ego. And I suppose that's where I am now at this point in my life, that it's just awareness, having that awareness now, that what's been driving you, where are you? And Maharaj says that you're only a guest here in this world. So how do you make every place your home? How do you make every moment your home? That's the kind of things that I've been thinking of, that, wow, you know, as women, we go through so much change from the minute, like, we're born. Even, I think in by Gurdas Ji's Vara or Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, it always talks about, you know, that we're going to go off to our home, which will be our marital home. And it talks about the bride leaving and going to a marital home. It talks about the soul in the same way, leaving and going back to Wahguru after death. So I was like, why do we feel attached to a place to call that home? In a mental level, to keep our mental health well, we need to, and to survive and to thrive on a worldly level. But in a spiritual level, it's just thrown out these massive questions to me, like, what's it going to feel like when I have to go somewhere else? Can I feel that bliss if tomorrow they say, all right, now you have to move to New Zealand or somewhere? And I'm just going to be like, oh, okay. You know, Maharaj, I'm just astounded how Guruji, we went to Anandpur side last month, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj lived there for 22 years, and I was just constantly matha taking to this stuff, because I was like, wow, Wahguru, this is like the home of the Khalsa Panth. We all call it home. Especially when we take Amrit, we're told to call it home. But yet Maharaj had to leave that again and again, Damdama Sahib, Azur Sahib, all the different places on the way. And they never cried. You know, we look back, I was applying this to myself and think, oh, whenever I've thought about this, I thought, oh, I look back and in Leicester, wow, I had my in-laws there, I had work there, I had my friends there, my circle, I had this, that. Okay, in London, I had my family there. You know, you're comparing. But then I thought, Guruji left with their sahibzade, And I don't know if you've seen, probably Rizal watches the animation of Banda Singh Bahadur, Char Sahibzada 2.
Oh,
But
so many times.
the kids just love it. So you just pick up little things from watching it. And somebody asks, I think Banda Singh Bahadur asks by Daya Singh Ji, what was it like at Anandpur Sahib when Guruji was there? But it never shows Guru Sahib reflecting on it. And we never hear of that in the house. That Maharaj missed something or cried at a loss of something. So I suppose we have a goal there, and we understand that there's a level you can try and work towards where you just see Brahm everywhere, but it takes baby steps. It takes the company of enlightened soul or your Sadh Sangat, doing your Amrit Vela as a Sadh Sangat. It takes introspection. It takes recognizing, hang on, Man tu jot swarup hai, apna mool pashan, that your mind is the one that plays tricks on you when you're moving, when you have a baby, we have to nurture the mind, like Guruji says so beautifully, E man sundar apana, oh my beautiful mind. They speak about the mind so beautifully. And for me, it feels like they're saying it at those times when we need it, when we feel vulnerable. Like when you need a helping hand. So it's like they recognize that you need a helping hand. You need someone to take you through it, because at that time, you can't think on such a huge, high level. You have to just get through it. So how we talk about mental health and supporting each other, loads of empathy. But then they come to like, as well. You know, like, oh, your gentle mind, you're just bouncing around all over the place. So I suppose that for me, it's been a massive, you know, transformation thinking, or maybe not thinking. But what I wanted to ask you, because you're full of amazing advice and reflections, I wanted to ask you.
This is a deal.
No, what I wanted to ask you is, what advice would you give to women? Because we're playing juggling acts all the time, and it's like we have to press stop, start, pause button. Like if you're going through something, you have to hit it on pause as soon as your child comes in, and you have to like stop your reflection time or whatever, and you have to attend to them. So for women, even if they're just juggling family, living with extended family and juggling their work or whatever it is that's going on in their lives, what advice would you give to women to fill their own cups, how to fill their own cups? Because this is so crucial, whilst playing such a pivotal role in the family life.
I think pretty much everything that you said fits into all of that. So like what you said about, you know, if we have like a challenging time, then when you were going through a challenging time, you sat with the Gurkha Sahib and you went down right to the bare basics, right, of Mool Mantra. And filling your cup doesn't start from when you are in a bad place. I mean, it may start like that for you, but I personally feel like you need to be filling your cup from the moment that you're happy, because all of those things that you're doing in your practice or in your nitnem or your routine, those are the things that are, you know, if you're going through a challenging time, it's not even something that you fall back on. Those are the things that are going to be like holding you up, keeping you strong. So your nitnem, your Amrit Vela Naam Abhyas, that's all there for us in Gursikh Karat, so that when those hard times come where we feel like, oh my God, I can't think, I don't know what's going on, but I do know one thing. I know that my relationship with my Guru, that's what will take me anywhere. Like, you know what you said about you can go anywhere in the world and there are some things that don't change, and that is your relationship with Maharaj. And just like you said that your relationship with your Guru has probably developed so much more in the time that you've been in India than when you were in the UK. And I mean, I'm saying that for myself here as well. Like, I feel like whatever relationship I thought I had with the Guru, it's only become absolute since I moved here, because I had to think about how I was going to step up in just my own life. And the only way that I was going to be able to do that was taking strength from my Rat and taking strength from my Guru. Like, you know, like in a church, for example, there's an altar, right? And then people say that you run to your altar, you lie down in front of your altar. In that same way, if there is a hard time that we're going through, then we have to run to our Guru. Just in the same way that we would as a child would run to their mom and dad. Like that our guru is our everything. That's our sanctuary. Like Maharaj says, "Mele udayal, tepe dware." Like we literally are lying down in front of our guru and saying, "Okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but as long as I've got you, Maharaj, like I know I'm going to be fine, and that's what's going to get me through everything." And so, to fill your own cup, your practice has to start now. And if it happens that you are in a bad place and you don't know where to start, the simplest thing that you can start with that is accessible to the whole world is Vaheguru Simran. The moment that you say Vaheguru, that is the moment, like even if you get the thought to say Vaheguru, that is Maharaj holding on to you and saying, okay, you know what, I've got you. It's okay. But you still have to do the work and you still have to remember Vaheguru every single moment that you can. So yeah, run to your guru, take the support of Sangat as well, take support of your community, because sometimes we're not in a place where our relationship is strong enough with our guru. And so we need Sangat and we need community and we need people to, like-minded people that are going to uplift us, that are going to carry us with them, whatever good qualities that they have. So take support in those things. But yeah, on a personal level, don't always just go for temporary self-care, like the things that are, that are just going to be there to kind of get you through like a day. You want something that's going to be long lasting. And in order for something to be long lasting, it means you have to put the effort in every single day. This is a nitya jang, right? Like we are always fighting this and it's not going to go away. We just have to keep working at it. And it will get easier. Sometimes it gets a little bit more difficult, but eventually through the Sikhya that we have from the Guru, then things will start to get easy because we have a bit more understanding of what life is. And it's that same thing again about the relationship to your Guru. Like we are so disconnected from our spiritual side, let alone thinking about Sikhi and Ret. We're just so disconnected from ourselves that how are we expecting then that when we are in a challenging time that we're just going to get up and go? Like we don't even know who we are. So we have to connect with ourselves and the Guru within ourselves so that we can then connect to Gurbani to make it our strength. So if you don't have a relationship with your Guru yet, just think about if you have a friend that you want to get to know, or even your partner. Like you don't just say like, okay, I'm married to my partner and that's it now, like we never have to do anything again. You work at the relationship.
You work at it, yeah.
Yeah. So in the same way, we have to work on a relationship with our Guru as well. We can't just expect that, Hanji mein Japji Sahib padh liya, so therefore Maharaj is going to take care of me. Like we have to take the time and effort to invest in that relationship. And like we already know that the moment that we just take that one step forward to Maharaj is going to like literally hold us and hug us, and it will get all taken care of, but we have to take those first steps first.
I love that. Just such wise words.
I mean, this is all that the Guru is saying, right? So it's not even my wise words. It's all Sikhya from the Guru. And so one thing that I really realized, and I know that you mentioned this as well, that when you're in those moments of silence and you just get a moment to kind of think, okay, who am I again? What am I doing? What's my purpose in life? We don't get enough of those moments. So that's something that I feel like it is so imperative to have that every single day. And Maharaj has made it so easy for us because the rat is given that, hey, you have to wake up at Amrit Vela every day and sit in that quiet and figure out who you are again. And eventually you will realize that who you are is that vibration of Vaheguru, right? And that's why we do Abhyas, because we're doing practice of saying Vaheguru every single day so that we remember who we truly are. And as Maharaj says, Bande khoj dil har roj, na fir pareshani mai, that we won't have any of the doubt and the anxiety and the stress if we remember each and every day who it is that we are. And if we try and become that vibration of Vaheguru, then everything will be sorted for us.
So I think for us, personally, I'm assuming for yourself, coming out and moving countries provided us that space away from the rat race. Because yes, there was doing your nickname in the morning and then dropping the kids to school, then going to work
Yeah.
yourself, and then, you know, the constant TikTok rat race that was living in England for me. But when I came here, because all of that stopped, it felt like time stopped, and I had the opportunity of space to reflect on that. And what I'm feeling like now is we're in unprecedented times with the lockdown, the coronavirus lockdown, and most of the countries are in lockdown. This is a time that we can really use that space wisely, because I don't think any of us have been in that position before, where you're all at home and you've got time on your hands. Yeah, you've got online schooling and, you know, bits and pieces and Seva you can do, but you're still restricted, and that has opened up the space for those people who perhaps haven't moved country, but they can relate to it. So providing that space and making the most of it and connecting with Vaheguru, or doing a das to start the journey. But what I love the most is the most amazing thing is that, like you said, filling your cup doesn't start when you're down or your cup is empty. It starts now. And I was sitting with my son a couple of weeks back, and he was feeling down, and I said, let's just go through this. Look around you, what have you got? And he was going through, I've got a bed, I've got electricity at that time, but he was like, you know, I've got bedding, I've got water, filtered water to drink. And we made this massive list of, I've got my body, I've got my lungs, I've got my breath, I've got my brain to remember Vaheguru. We're like, wow, we are actually so Sukhi, but our minds don't let us realize it. But this space that we have, because we're not rushing off to school, we can have these conversations with our family, with our children, with our sisters, with all, you know, everyone around the world. So because it is lockdown, I don't know what's happening in Canada. I think a lot of people are still managing to go out here and there. We're managing to get out a bit more now, which is nice. We're still going through change. What are you looking forward to this year? Because we've got about 10 minutes left. So what kind of projects will you be working on? Where can people find you?
Well, if you don't know by now, it's at Conscious Sisterhood. And you can look at all of the Sangat stuff that we do either on my personal Instagram, Satnam Kaur, or Nareet Singh's Khalsa. But I think you're absolutely right that, yeah, it's the perfect opportunity for us right now to go inward and focus more on the things that we just haven't had the time to focus on. So, like, for example, like if somebody hasn't had the opportunity to experience Amritullah, or they haven't, you know, they haven't even sat down for meditation in a very, very long time. Like, these are the times where you can do it now, because everybody can carve out just 5 minutes, and 5 minutes is all that it takes, right? So as a starting point. So with Conscious Sisterhood, I'm really lucky that now, since the end of June, beginning of July, I am no longer a full-time teacher, which I was since I moved here. I'm now full-time Conscious Sisterhood. And so everything that I am, yeah, it's a real huge blessing. And it's about living on purpose, right? Just like you are right now. So it's about for the rest of the year, there will be more community opportunities for my sisters in Conscious Sisterhood. There's a couple of courses that I'm creating right now. There's one course that I already have created called Self-Care Master Plan, which began in March, but it's being re-released like later on this year, and I just want to make it like just the absolute best for anybody that joins it. That's pretty much it. Like, that's taking all my time right now, because there is so much going into it from my point. I'm putting my heart and soul into it, and I think everything that we have talked about is going in a lot more depth into the course and other things that are coming up with Conscious Sisterhood. So if you want to keep up to date with it, follow me on Instagram, sign up for my email. You can just go to my link in bio, and you'll be able to find everything there. I'm regularly sending emails now, empowering powerful newsletters that, you know, I want to be able to share whatever I have learned in a way that can help others. So yeah, that's it.
And I can't believe how much has already happened in this year without us even trying, Ghana, with the
Yeah,
lockdown. And it's given loads of opportunities, but it's slowed down some of the projects that we've been working on. So I hope Mara just get by that, the motherhood movie that we've been working on about Mata Sahib Gorji. I hope that does get to come out in cinemas where everyone can learn about Mata Sahib Gorji, because
yeah,
I think that was the biggest confidence boost as a Singhani, that learning about Mataji and obviously having a daughter and teaching other daughters when I was in England teaching classes, course for Wari, we used to focus on Mata Sahib. People would be like, oh my God, we didn't know this, and
yeah,
sing so beautifully in praises of Mata Sahib, so they'll build confidence within themselves, be comfortable with the skin that they're in, and not feel any less than anyone and no less important as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. March that gets out soon, but obviously it depends on the situation, and we're still fundraising. And another thing that I would like to develop a bit more is changing the course for Wadi curriculum that I made for they were 7 to 10-year-olds, I believe, in the West, girls in the West, taking the 32 qualities from Guru Granth Sahib Ji, but making a Punjabi version suitable for this kind of diaspora, because they often don't think as deep as we think. It's literally what you're going to eat for roti, how much have you got, and you know, what sweet can you get. That's the kind of differences that we're living in. So creating something for local girls here, because when we were doing the camps initially last year when we came, we saw about 1,000 kids, but Benji, the majority of them did not know what Vaisakhi was.
yeah.
They didn't know Guru Nanak, they didn't know the 10 Gurus' names, they didn't know anything, and I couldn't believe it. I was gobsmacked that, hang on, this is the birthplace of Sikhi.
Yeah.
But yet the locals are just forgetting, and no matter where we go, they just, it's the same story, unfortunately, wherever we're going.
Yeah.
So it's like wanting to find more innovative ways to take them back to knowing what a great legacy they're from.
Yeah.
And so that they can take that forward, because obviously in the West we're talking about connecting with Vaheguru as a vibration. Here we're talking about, do you know the names of
Yeah.
groups? Such a massive shift. So it's trying to make a global structure, really, so that the kind of Panth that we've forgotten in the East can kind of we can all hold arms together and join as one Ek Khalsa Panth. And the new generations coming through are much more nourished and not forgotten.
Yeah.
Because obviously we all know the history of Punjab and how difficult it's been, and it still is to this day. So I hope we can do that, and I hope the Biblia that we come across will feel more inspired, so that when they go and get married and have children, that they'll know maybe Gurmukhi Akhar. They'll know the value of saying Vaheguru, or doing Ardas, or keeping a surname as Singh or Kaur. So that's my hope for this coming years and projects going forward.
You know, Brandy, the work that you're doing is so important. Like, I know that my focus is on women that are like either students in university, or that are married, or just, you know, going in those later stages in life. But the work that you're doing is so very important as well. And just like what you said about, like, you know, you want the Bibiyan to have, you know, when they have the next generation, you want them to be in a place where they can pass on that Sikha to their children. And I think our missions are aligned in that sense, because I really feel that, like, if we want to have a Shianmi Rodi Khalsa, then the time starts now in nurturing the Bibiyan to understand how powerful they actually are. And if we don't, then we're going to lose the next generation. So the work that you're doing is so very important, and I'm just glad that we can share this, share being on each other's being with each other on this path, on the journey. It's time to go to sleep.
It's all interconnected, because sometimes I'm looking for inspiration, and I'll go onto Instagram and I'll see something beautiful you've written, so I'm getting inspired to go and do the work that I'm doing. And sometimes it can be vice versa. Somebody that never knew anything about Sikhi can come up to me and say the most profound thing and just being like a rural person, you'd be like, wow, how did they even know that? So we all over the world are inspiring each other, and we're such an important part in each other's journeys. But Benji, I think we're coming down to the end of our time now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's been absolutely amazing talking to you, and I hope one day we'll get to catch up again soon. Please say my fateh to the to Baji and of course Razal Singh, who I haven't actually met yet, but give him a hug for me, and keep in touch.
Yeah, will do. Yeah,
Thank you very
and
much,
please
Ji.
pass on my birthday to your family as well.
I will do. Take care, Ji. Waheguru Ji Ka
Waheguru Ji Ka
Khalsa,
Khalsa,
Waheguru Ji Ki
Waheguru Ji Ki
Fateh.
Fateh.